will agree with me that politics is playing here. And I think Melaye saw this coming.
Okay.
That's why he started shouting. But only the problem I saw here is that he didn't start on time. If you remember, the incident of the current deputy speaker, when he raised an alarm that he got a report or an information from a whistleblower that the police or DSA want to come and raid his house in search of arms and all the rest.
Yeah.
So he started, shouting. To him, he believed that they want to mastermind something against him. They could even accuse that they could even come there and plan something. So they were actually looking for a way to implicate him. That is one. Two, remember the issue of Sani?
Shehu Sani.
Shehu Sani, who was being invited by the police.
Yeah.
On the same, you see, I don't know why in Nigeria, when you feel somebody is, they call it political enemy, forgetting that in politics, as I know, as I was taught, and even my father, who was a politician before he died, told me that in politics, there's no permanent friend, there's no permanent enemy, but only a permanent interest. Who said, I think it was Bob Marley, yes, that said your best friend today can be your worst enemy tomorrow. And your worst enemy today can also be your best friend. So I don't know whether these people understand that this life flows like this. Now you now ask yourself a question.
No condition is permanent,
that is the
according
truth.
to Zik.
Today you're a governor. You know one thing about life, whatever you do in life, whatever position you occupy, one day you must be X. You must be X this, X that. All these things are unnecessary.
Even ex-human.
Definitely.
All right, so what are the legal
the legal implication there
of
is
this? Because first off, he was granted bail by a court in Abuja, only to be remanded in police custody in Lokoja the next day. What happens to the bail of the day before in another court?
You see, that is what we call double standard. Unfortunately, I don't know why some of our colleagues coming to judicial arena should be allowed to descend under the arena of politics. Let me tell you, any country the judicial system fails, that country is heading to a total doom. The executive, the legislative arm may collapse. It may not have too much implication. But once the judiciary is involved, there is a problem, like what we are experiencing today.
And unfortunately, it looks like the judiciary is involved.
We are gradually going there. Now, this young man has been granted bail. He's still enjoying the bail. And apart from that, our concern as human rights and constitutional lawyers is not even about the process or this. It's the issue of bringing him to court on a stretcher. When you know that this man is unfit to stand trial. And the Constitution simplicity, if you go to section 34 of the Constitution, talks about right to inhuman degradation. It's a total abuse of the 1999 Constitution.
But in all of this now, does he have the powers to sue the police?
Of course. In fact, there is a recent Supreme Court judgment that says that you can even sue on behalf of a dead person for fundamental human rights, unlike before. You know, the law involves every day.
Yes.
Professor Risu said that the law is to harmonize with the society. The implication of that is that as the society grows, the law grows alongside with the society. So if you can sue on behalf of a dead person, what of somebody who is still alive?
Who is still alive?
Remember, Evans was still in custody when he went to court on fundamental human rights application. So it's so unfortunate that we could allow ourselves to be pushed to the corner to this extent.
It's really troubling, because when you hear the speaker, Yakubu Dogara, say that nowhere in the world is a person stretchered to court, and treated this way, while he is obviously not fit to answer to guilty or not guilty. And he has said nothing should happen to him.
That is what we're saying. Because, you see, He said nowhere in the world, but we're in Nigeria. And it is now found out that things that will not happen elsewhere will also happen in Nigeria.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to the issue of precedents, you can point
But are we
fingers at
setting
any of the
good one
countries.
or bad one?
Exactly, that's the issue.
As far as it's concerned, he does not agree with justice on some score. I'd like you to explain to us exactly what you mean. And welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Good morning.
welcome, Melaye.
Good morning, Nigeria.
It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you. I only want to say that I heard him saying that, well, a precedent has been set, a bad one at that. Well, I want to disagree on certain scores to say this clearly, that let us look at the antecedents of the person who was brought to court. We'll see that one, he was invited, he refused showing up until he was arrested. He tried to escape. You understand? So what was it, an ailment that prevented him from standing, or an ailment that couldn't make him say not guilty or guilty as charged? You understand? So the police are also empowered to investigate and look beyond, lift the veil and see the antecedent and see the practices or the behavior of the person who we are bringing to court. Mind you, the the National Hospital Abuja certified him fit enough to stand his trial. So which other...
According to the police?
According to the police. Well, yes, the police would not lie. If they brought him from the National Hospital to be arraigned in that court, then it means that he is fit to stand his trial. Look, don't let us deceive ourselves. It's unfortunate that it seems as if it's a bad precedent that has been set. But while in the National Hospital, even while being stretched to the court, the gentleman called Melaye, had his hand stretched, held on to something there. Are you saying that it was so bad for him that he couldn't speak? It was so bad for him that he couldn't stand? What exactly was wrong with him that he was unable to stand? But at the end of the day, did he not still plead yes, guilty, or no? You understand? So let us be very dispassionate when we are looking at these issues. We shouldn't bring any sentiment into it.
Well, according to his lawyer,
Yes.
he had already been in custody before he was taken to the Lokoja court.
Yes.
And because he had been in custody, his health had not been attended to.
Excuse me.
He suffers from asthma and whatever other ailment. And on the basis of that, Michael Zekome asked that he be granted bail. And considering again that he had been granted bail by another court in Abuja the day before.
In that court in Abuja, did he not plead? Was his plea not taken? What happened within 24 hours?
A lot could have happened.
He suddenly fell ill, so much so that he couldn't stand. Look, let us be very sincere with ourselves. If you begin to play to the gallery, see, Nigerians are wise. As lawyers, well, yes, I want to believe that the defense counsel would do the utmost best to ensure to portray the defendants in a particular way for the people to see. You will not want to portray him, as someone who was very fit before the arraignment, who was very fit. You want to begin to show incidences or instances of bouts of whatever it is, that he had those ones, just to still get I won't call it sentiment now, but get the sympathy of the court.
Or get a leeway.
Yes, those are gimmicks that we know. I'm also a defense counsel. So we are looking at issues like this. How will you portray your clients to the world? You want to get the sympathy, but there is no sentiment in law.
All right.
The basic thing, the basic thing that we need to look at will be, while at the National Hospital, he was holistically examined. Mind you, what was said to have happened was that he jumped from the moving vehicle. Where did he sprain? The legs, the toes, the knees, where? The waist that will probably make him unable to stand? What? Definitely not the waist. Definitely not the knee. The toes. So will the toes make him unable to stand? Unable to talk?
Senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, said that his fundamental human rights have been breached.
All right. Fundamental rights. Certain things are really fundamental indeed.
Okay.
Your right to dignity. Do you understand? Now,
and besides, he's a senator of the Federal Republic.
He's a senator. I don't want to call him shameless. I don't want to begin to cast aspersions on his person, but what we have seen so far, this same senator who is saying, I can't stand trial, has been tweeting. His Twitter handle has been very active.
Anyone can do that for him.
See, the one we are saying, they are now saying that this man, anyone could do that for him?
Exactly.
Excuse me.
When the president tweets, and it mustn't be him tweeting, there are people who run this services for them. So
if you read the tweets, you will see the tweets where the typical Dino Melaye tweeting. If same was done on his behalf by other people, you will realize that the tone will reduce a little. But
okay. Let's bring this to justice. I'm inferring from what Mr. Ajanaku has said is Dino Melaye's antecedents before now, the way he has carried on as a senator of the Federal Republic and all of that, have actually earned him this seeming abuse of his fundamental rights.
Well, you see, I think...
And so he had it coming, or he deserved it. Is that what we're saying?
We should be realistic and tell Nigerians the truth, and also tell ourselves the truth at any point in time. You know why? It is Dino today. It could be you. It could be me. It could be you tomorrow. And that is why in law we say injustice somewhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Yes, my learned friend is trying to draw inference from certain angles to arrive at a conclusion, which is allowed. But there are certain things you must look at. Off record, before we came on board, we were talking. He mentioned about Mubarak and some other people that were stretched to court.
That is not the first time
I
it
said
happens
something
in Nigeria.
That those people were already facing trial before that condition came up. Now, for somebody to be fit to come to court, and we are now talking about there was a certification from medical. The medical you're talking about, National Hospital, is an agency of who? Is it not the same government? No, I'm coming. Let's be realistic to ourselves.
No.
But every prudent adjudicator, even in court, when somebody is arraigned, the law says you have the right to remain mute.
Yeah.
Once you do that, what would the court do?
Would the court will enter a plea of not guilty for you.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Will court force you to talk?
No, the court will enter a plea of not guilty for you.
And the law says the court will enter a plea of not guilty for you and now inquire whether your muteness is... I'm coming. We are lawyers here. We are lawyers here. Whether your muteness is out of God or as a result of malice, which may not be done immediately. Now, we are talking about inhuman treatment here. Section 34, if you want, I read it to you. It's clear. It's clear.
What does it say briefly?
That section says every individual is entitled to respect for dignity of his person, and accordingly, nobody shall be subjected to torture or to inhuman or degrading treatment. You see where Falana is basing his argument.
Yes.
And some of us that are in the human rights angle are basing our treatment. Forget even the issue of whether he's a senator or not. He's a Nigerian citizen, first of all. He's supposed to enjoy the provisions of the law. Now, going further as a senator, at least, do you know what they are called? Distinguished. They are distinguished among equals in the country.
Whether liked by the people or not.
Or whether they've carried on in a distinguished manner
or not. He carries an office.
Now, what that goes to show is that there is a level of discretion the court is supposed to show at any point in time. What we call discretion. That discretion, even the law have said, must be exercised judiciously and judicially. You see, when you allow politics to play, and that was why I sounded a note of warning earlier. When you allow politics, let me tell you, he wouldn't have taken the magistrate anything to say, well, the way I look at... I was in court the other day at all by magistrate court here. A man was brought to court on a stretcher. Looking, sick. When the magistrate looked at it, he said, I'm not sure this man can stand trial. Please take him.
It was the discretion of
Yes, please take him back. I don't know whether you understand me.
Sure, yes.
At that point in time, you are now talking about the adjudicator. If the adjudicator is not playing a script, that is what the law imposes on him or her to do. One, I keep on saying this to lawyers, my colleagues, that we should remember that we had a bond, and we are taught in the law school that our first duty as a lawyer, because first of all, before you become a judge, I might say you're first of all a lawyer. We all pass through the law school. Yeah. We are taught that our first duty is to the state. We should always remember this. Know the kind of precedent you're setting. Because whether you like it or not, that you are assigned a matter. I don't even want to go to the issue of being granted bail before on almost the same thing. And now this one is coming up. Why are you insisting that he must be flown to Kogi to stand another trial within that same period?
In another court.
Time does not run against the state.
Does the law allow for a situation where a person says, I don't feel safe in Kogi, I don't have confidence in the judicial system in Kogi, so I'd rather face the law in Abuja? Does the law allow for that?
Jurisdiction matters where the offense was allegedly committed.
Okay.
When you look at that, if it was from one jurisdiction to another, or it's something that started somewhere and ended in another place, you begin to, the first thing you need to look at will be the jurisdiction. Do I have the jurisdiction to entertain this matter in this court? If you don't have jurisdiction, you wash your hands off it. But then, if I delve a little bit into what my learned friend here said, talking about one being distinguished and all that, we all know, don't let us run away from the facts. Prior to this time, you call a person a distinguished fellow. That distinguished fellow must be distinguished in all ramifications. That must not be, if you err in one area, you have erred in all. So we are looking at it. He said that the senator was arraigned in Abuja a day before and was taken to Kogi the following day. One, you had a prefixed date for the matter to come up. It was adjourned initially because he didn't make himself available. He was not available to attend. What do you do to a distinguished fellow? You invite him, come over. You have a matter, you have served him. What do you need to do? Make yourself available in the court. It could even be granted self-recognition and allowed to go home. But in a situation where you begin to dodge, you begin to shy away from the law definitely will take its course. I understand the sentiments of my learned friend here. Well, yes, first and foremost, we're all lawyers. And I am also a defender of the Constitution. What I'm saying is that you don't show traits, you don't give examples where your actions will become unbelievable at any point in time. The moment you begin to show that, any word you say will be investigated to ensure that indeed that's the truth. Once a lie is found, the court will not believe you. You mentioned a case where someone was brought on a stretcher to the court. Well, yes, the magistrate has a discretion to exercise. You can examine the person from where you are sitting. Indeed,
even when the magistrate is not a medical doctor.
There are some things. You see, my dear sister, we have seen things.
Okay.
We have seen some people could be packaged to the courts, and the court can also see through what were packaged and decide one way or the other. We saw Olisame Tutu, because he wanted to travel out by all means. We saw how he came up with also, they even brought him to court on a stretcher. They had this guard on his neck, as if he couldn't even turn his neck anymore. Someone who had been coming and speaking with all his might suddenly became like a lily. He couldn't even move a finger. You understand? Suddenly. And if it was something that was gradual, one would have understood. But suddenly things like this came up. And you need to exercise caution.
Yeah. Let's move on now because we'll be rounding off shortly. The Senate and even with the House of Reps have said that nothing should happen to Senator Dino Melaye.
What will happen to Dino Melaye?
Well, as far as his safety is concerned, as far as his health is concerned, but in all of this, what role does the National Assembly have to play in this? Let me start with you, Alanwaju.
He is a member, a distinguished fellow of the National Assembly, a distinguished Nigerian. Well, without being sentimental, yes, they should exercise concern about their own, about someone who is from their, who is a member of the National Assembly, where I think it ends there. One thing that is certain also is this: they can sound a note of warning, ensure that this person is adequately taken care of. Well, yes, the police should do that. If one is infirmed in any way, the police should take the person to the hospital to take care of, right? But then, to begin to, Melaye does not want to die. He will not die.
I wonder if there's anyone who wants to die.
He will not die. All these things are to get our sympathy.
Let me bring this to you. Is it discriminatory? Of course, it's not only Dino Melaye who is involved in this particular case. 4 others were remanded in police custody, while Dino Melaye was remanded in prison custody. Make us understand this. Is it discriminatory? Or what?
Yeah, first of all, I will look at it that way. But before I quickly answer that, there was a question you asked earlier about when Dino Melaye said he doesn't feel safe going to Kogi. But my learned friend did not answer that question holistically.
I was not asked.
Even, he said
I did ask whether the law makes any provision for that.
It's about issue of jurisdiction.
It's about jurisdiction.
Yes. Don't worry, I'm coming. I only wanted to chip in because
I'll give it to you.
I want our viewers to understand as lawyers. You see, if you are arraigned in court, even in magistrate court, on the day of your arraignment, the court will ask you if you want your matter to be tried there or not. That is part of your right. I'm coming. The issue.
I'm sorry. No, please. I'm sorry. He missed it.
Okay.
No.
Let me quickly point out where he has missed it.
But let him land.
So before he goes on.
No, let him land.
No, he will go on.
You will have your day. You will have your day.
It's fundamental. What he's saying. What he's saying.
Objecting now.
No. But what he's saying is very fundamental.
All right. Okay.
You see, a magistrate court is different from a high court. If you get to a magistrate court and a charge is brought before the court preferred against you, one thing that the magistrate court, because it's the court of summary jurisdiction, is to ask you, do you want your matter tried here or you want it tried elsewhere? That's in the high court. If you want it tried in the high court, what will be done will be to get a legal advice from the Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecution. Once that is done, your matter can be taken to the high court. But in the high court, when your matter is to be tried, there are matters that can be taken to the magistrate court and matters to be taken to the high court. Not all matters go to the magistrate court. The one that goes straight to the high court, you will not be asked whether you want your matter had there or not.
Have you finished?
Have you finished? You can go on, sir.
All right.
You are still concurring to what I said. The point I'm trying to point out, there is that there is such words provision. And moreover, this is a magistrate matter, a magistrate court.
Yeah.
He was taken to a magistrate court. But now, look at it. The alleged offense, he's even been arraigned, is even a federal one. Gun running is a federal offense. We was talking about jurisdiction. I don't know. For example, if such matter happens in Lagos and people from Abuja or anywhere comes to arrest you, they have the right to arraign you in any court.
Whether it's in
within Nigeria.
Okay.
Because it's a federal offense. Let's be mindful what we do and what we say. Now, the issue there now is this. When we look at the whole thing holistically, he also made mention of Olisameto, which I said earlier. Olisameto was already facing his first trial. His first arraignment, he was fit and proper. Let me use that word as a lawyer. You remember the law school? He was fit and proper.
Yeah.
Later, he fell sick, according to them. But this one is that from the day of arraignment, he said is not what? Fit and proper. They are two different things at that point in time. If you do not want to play a script or do something, what stops you from saying, since this man is not fit, why are you bringing him
before me
with a stretcher? Let him be fit and stand. And again, let me also tell Nigerians that the law, I've said it before, time does not run against the state. That is why if you commit a crime now and run away, or you feel you want to evade justice, the police can arrest you.
Olare, what you said earlier, that a holistic test was carried out by the National Hospital. And you were saying earlier that the
National Hospital is also an agency of government.
But are you saying that there can be bias in the result from the National Hospital?
I'm coming. In order to avoid any issue that will arise on appeal, every hand must be on deck. It doesn't take the magistrate. Understand what I'm trying to say. Discretionarily, I have told you the experience I had just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
To have said, look at this, take him back. When he's fit, he will come and face his trial. Moreover, like you said something, knowing, as far as I'm concerned, it's double jeopardy. Knowing that the similar thing has already come up in another court that have the same coordinate jurisdiction.
Janoku, you have the last word before we run off
now.
to,
So it's not a matter of sentiment. Let's remove all these things. Denial here, Melaye denial here, Dino Melaye here, Dino Melaye here. All these things are being political. Okay. Soon they will start signing tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm hoping to be in the National Assembly.
Yes,
so if I speak against the government, they will still come up.
Indeed, one of the lawmakers, let me put this in, actually said that Dino Melaye is being persecuted because of his political views or beliefs. Honorable Karimi, also that's his name, that it could happen to anyone. And so this is what is going on with Dino Melaye. Is that what it is? Or is it about the law?
Sometimes, when the law takes its course,
yes,
it will be attributed to so many factors. They will tell you it's political. They will tell you because of the hatred by one person or the other in power and all that. So those things will come up. But
what do you want us to take home with this?
I only want to say that let me first correct this impression, because he said gun running. It's not just gun running. He also attempted to kill himself.
Yeah,
attempted suicide.
Yes, one of the.
Wait, that one has not even come up, because they said come up. Show yourself in this place. You attempted to kill yourself in another place. They can take you back. Why did you attempt to kill yourself? If you want to die, die. Make sure you die. You understand? That's not the way it is. But then, let us as Nigerians be honorable in anything we do. Let us always remember that nobody is above the law, no matter how highly placed you are.
Yes.
The law will catch up with you if you go against the law.
All right, we have to leave it here now. Olanrewaju Ajanoku, constitutional lawyer, thank you so much for coming. And Justice Webu, human rights lawyer, thank you so much. It was like we were in a court, in the courtroom. That's really interesting.
And we were doing the cross-examination.
Yeah, we were doing the cross-examination. All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you.